I was listening to the waiting music, and you know what? I really need to ask the branding team to make us like a nicer countdown. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but you know what? That's how you start a live stream. You have to have that countdown and make a stupid comment about it. So, hello everybody. Welcome to Kubefirst Live, or bi-monthly or bi-weekly. I never know which one I think both are right in English, which is a
Let's
little
go
bit.
fortnightly. Let's say fortnightly. Yeah.
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 Stop messing
Okay.
with me. So, my name is Frederick Harper, Fred. I'm a developer advocate at Kubefirst, and I'm super happy to welcome you for this week live stream. And we have great news for you. We're going to talk to you about Kubefirst 2.1, which is the new release that if you're watching live right now, it's not there, but we are this close. So before the end of the day, I'm putting this on the table. It's set on the internet. We cannot take it back before the end of the day. We're going to release 2.1. We still wanted to show you all the amazing thing we worked on, especially the new amazing user interface. But before we jump right into the topic, it's a special live stream right now because not because of John. We're used to John, but we have someone that wasn't there for a while. Hello, Jared. How was
Hello.
life?
Life is great. No complaints.
so,
Everything's perfect, you know.
so the guy who works so much on the latest release, but hey, when you like what you do, I guess life is good. And yeah, would
Absolutely.
you like to introduce yourself, guys?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Jared, one of the co-founders here at Kubefirst. Happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, and I'm John Dietz, the other technical co-founder of Kubefirst, and yeah, we're so excited about 2.1. Let's get right to it. No time to waste. Let's hit it, Fred.
But it seems I just need to say, like, I made a mistake on the first slide, so it seems like Jared is a more important founder than John, because you only have your company under your name, and Jared had the founder name. So, you know what?
That's all right. You're just giving me some credit for missing the last 6 live streams or whatever it's been.
Exactly.
Thanks for the extra credit.
I wanted to boost your ego, so you come back on the show with us, like you're doing today. So let's jump on the topic. We're gonna release. Sorry, I'm just excited. Like, I thought we would release before the live stream, so I'm gonna say all the time we just released, but we're gonna release really, really soon. As I said, by the end of the day, 2.1. We worked hard. You probably remember, if you're a Kubefirst user, that we had the console application that is basically your dashboard for anything Kubefirst. This is where all the magic happened once you have your cluster created. But we updated that application. Thanks for the good work on people on the team. And this is also another way right now to provision a new cluster. So you have that beautiful, sexy new user interface for you, where we're going to demo it to you, but just to give you a preview, you choose your Git provider, you choose your cloud, and you have quite the same experience as you have on the CLI, with just more sexiness and a little more fun. That we're going to talk to you a little more about it. So not going too much in details, because we're going to demo you how it's working right after I'm done talking. If you want to do that at home, once we release 2.1, there's 2 ways for you to do that, to use the new UI to create your management cluster on Kubernetes. So if you want to use the CLI, you already have the CLI installed, or you want to install the CLI, you can do Kubefirst launch up, which is a new command that we added to the CLI, which will open the console that you just saw, with the option for you to choose how you want to create your Kubernetes cluster using Kubefirst. If you already have a cluster, Kubernetes cluster, you can use the tool that you know and hopefully you love, which is Helm and kubectl. So you can have the or charts museum Kubefirst in your Helm repo. You update, and you're gonna get something new that you can install in your cluster. So you do Helm install Kubernetes with some flags, and you're gonna get the same kind of experience that you had if you would have done Kubefirst launch up, but that's gonna be on the cluster that was already created. we're used to that now. If you are on M1, M2 Mac OS, you have some a little different things to do. So it's the same command, but you just have to have like some specific flags to be sure that you're going to get the same experience as someone who is not ARM on M1, M2 chipset or on a ARM device. When you do that, it's basically installing the console on your cluster, and to be able to access it, because you do element install, you're not using the CLI, the Kubefirst CLI directly. You need to do a port forward, and you're gonna get the same experience. The only thing is that you're gonna need to access directly the console in your browser manually. Your console in the browser, you're going to get that same image, actually, it's not an image. Now it's an image. You're going to get the console application working in the browser, and you're going to be good to go. For the CLI fan out there, we're not ditching the CLI. You still can install Kubefirst using the terminal if you're someone who likes to be in the terminal. But you're going to see there is some perks with the UI that is coming with the UI. And those perks right now, there is two ways that, when you create a new cluster, it can take time, depending on the cloud provider that you're using. Obviously, let's be honest, you're saving a lot of times if you use Kubefirst to create your new cluster. But hey, there's things that are out of our hands, and you need to have like DNS and like create all the resources on the cloud. So it can take between like 5 to 25 minutes, depending on like if you use Civo or if you use AWS, DigitalOcean, and Vultr. And during that time, we offer you an easy access to the videos we have on our YouTube channels. And we're totally aware that right now those videos are like between 40 minutes and like 2 hours, because, when we do live streams, we do live streams. But let me tell you, it's a secret. It's not going to be a secret anymore, but we're working on creating a nice, smaller capsule video that's going to be specific about different features and different aspects of Kubefirst. So you're going to be able to watch those in the near future, when you create a new cluster. And the second thing that we have, if you are in the mindset that like you need to take a break, and we're not going to tell you like you should not work on other stuff when your cluster is being created, but at the same time, there's some research out there that say that you're more productive if you take some breaks during the day. So you should thank us for what's coming next. We had a small game. Do you remember Flappy Bird? I do.
Flappy Bird's the best.
I have a love and hate
Was the best.
relationship with that game. I had a love-hate relationship with that game. It's nice, but it's so difficult. So we bring that same love-hate relationship to the platform, but with a nice mascot called Kerry. So you're going to be also able to play that game while your cluster is being created. So cool stuff coming around. And without further ado, I never remember what's the expression exactly. I'm going to give the mic to Jared, who's going to demo us how everything I just said is working or is going to work in 2.1.
All right.
Before that, because I just saw there is some comment, there is Patrick, who is watching us right now, Patrick Labs. I need to say he's one of the top fan of Kubefirst. It is said now on the internet, you have that badge of honor. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to the show. Super happy to see you here.
Hey, yeah, thanks for joining, Patrick. We appreciate it. As we were talking about before, we weren't able to get the release out the door, so I'm going to be running directly off main, but it'll be the same functionality for you when you get going. So to get started, I'm going to run my launch up command, and that's going to do a few things. When we were figuring out how we were going to, I guess before I jump into those details, we're going to select in cluster here. Basically, we just need somewhere to persist some data while the platform's provisioning in this new way through an API over the CLI. So we are going to put that in Mongo in a DB that's running in the Kubernetes cluster that we're creating right now. If you're going to be using this long term, and it'll make a little bit more sense once we get through our next big release of cluster management, that it'll come a little more, it'll be a little bit more important, but for now, we're supporting both methods for you to have that backend. And so back to what I was going to say before I got prompted. Go ahead, John.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, please don't do that ever again. Don't call me John. So, joke aside, for those of you that are not familiar, right now we're working from main, so it's why you see like go run, because Kubefirst is written like the CLI is written with Go, so we're basically like telling the Go compiler to compile and run what's in main. So obviously, once we're going to release, you're just going to do Kubefirst launch up.
Yeah, thanks for that clarifying point there. Yeah, so we took a bunch of stuff from our Kubefirst local experience. If you've gone through that, we decided that if we had to create a cluster on your local host to Helm install our application to, we might as well take advantage of all the work that we did, giving a nice experience. So we're going to use the same local DNS that we have in our Kubefirst local. And then outside of that, I think it's just going to wait a moment here to get the application up.
Yeah, and just to call out the detail about the installation method, this Kubefirst launch up operation is a great idea if you don't have a cluster that you want to install the Kubefirst provisioning tools to. It's just creating a very slim K3D cluster on your local host. You can also Helm install directly to an existing cluster and skip the Kubefirst launch up command if that's more convenient for you. So Jared, take it away. What are we looking at?
Yeah, all right. So we're looking at our first decision point here. So for us, we're going to actually use GitHub. I've got a GitHub token staged here that I'm going to grab. But after you select your Git provider, it's going to prompt you for which cloud. We're going to select the Civo cloud for this installation. I'm going to put my GitHub token in here, and you're going to see it's going to tell me who this token is associated with. When you're provisioning in our clouds, we recommend using a bot user. So you can see I'm using the Kubefirst demo bot. If we were to select an organization, we're going to go find that oopsie, so I selected the wrong org here, but one of the problems we have is that sometimes repositories already exist in places that we're trying to provision to, so we're trying to bring some of that user feedback and to the interface, and no, that's the wrong domain again, apologies. GitHub organization, excuse me. As you can tell, that rust is built up not being on the live stream the last few weeks.
You're doing great, buddy.
Yeah, that's perfect. Grab my Civo API key and drop that in to go to the next screen, live stream. We're going to fill in these last couple of details. I'm going to provision this cluster in the London region in the Civo cloud. As far as the cluster domain that we're going to use, it's going to be the your DNS.io domain, and I'm just going to call this your DNS.io console. And then I'm going to hit create cluster.
And just to be clear, that part is what you would do in the CLI with flags. Now you can do it with the interface. So it's the same experience. It's just like doing it with the UI.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, we've got the provision underway here. We've kind of shown some still shots of this before, but we've got this nice concise view for our log view. It gives you kind of the status updates. You can see that everything's still working there. You can drop into the verbose side also. That's going to give you a much heavier content. It's going to give you all the Terraform apply logs and all of those things for infrastructure as code that's running. But as mentioned by Fred earlier in the live stream, we've got all of our video content here for you to consume while you're sitting and waiting and watching these lovely loading spinners happen. And then the famous Flappy K-Ray that we were telling you about is live. So I'm really terrible at this game. And as you can see, my top score is 6. So we'll do one more try. It's harder than it looks. See how I can't do it. All the pressure. Anyways, I got to get one.
I saw it. That was a good run. That was a good run.
Good run. So yeah, we're also introducing this here. So if we're going to allow you to easily get to your Twitter if you happen to use that for social media. And if you post a screenshot of your high score, we're going to be giving out monthly prizes to whoever has the top score. So whoever wants to go beat 3, please be my guest.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, there's a new high watermark of 3 for the month of June. So I'm sure some folks out there are going to be able to to top a 3 GitOps pipelines survived by Flappy K-Ray, and you don't have to go through the Kubefirst provisioning process to get to the game. You can also just go to kubefirst.kray.io and play it directly in your browser from there. So
you'll just have to figure out the tweeting yourself, which
exactly. Bring your own tweets. Make sure you tweet it at Kubefirst.
Yeah, at Kubefirst. All right.
So, Fred, with that, I think this is really the user experience that we were trying to show to our new users. Obviously, we've got some good feedback that comes back to the user in a nice, friendly way instead of running a command and having it fail and needing to adjust in your terminal. We're hoping that there's going to be a bunch of users that are looking for that sort of more friendly user interface experience. Obviously, it's very new. So if you have recommendations about things that we could improve, other games that you would like to see added to arcade, whatever it might be, let us know. We're definitely trying to make this user experience perfect. So, Fred, if you want to take it home for us, I think we're ready to wrap up a quick one today.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that release is that the team worked hard, and you may look at what we just shown you and say like, okay, you just added like a UI to the CLI first, making a nice UI that works well. I don't know for you. I'm a developer. I'm really good with the logic, the business logic and everything, but like having a beautiful UI, I'm really bad at it. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is that we put a lot of work behind the hood. We decoupled the logic, we removed some stuff from the CLI, created an API just to be sure that we're able to give that UI experience. But that's only the first step for preparing for the next 1 or 2 or 3 releases where we're going to offer. And we were saying this for a long time, but now you see it's the first step, the real concrete first step in that direction where we're moving to multi-cluster capabilities you're going to have with Kubefirst. So we had to go through that first stage to do that. So it's why we are excited about that new release. And again, now you have 2 choices. If you want to try Kubefirst, you can do it with the UI, you can do it with the CLI, as always. And I just realized that I should probably update that slide. But you can deploy on AWS, on CEVO, or locally with K3D. Things to keep in mind is that if you use the UI, you cannot create a cluster locally, but you can still do it with the CLI. You still have the choice between GitHub and GitLab. And we introduced a while ago, but a little bit like under the table. We didn't talk too much about it. And now we're ready to talk a little more about like the beta opportunity, like the beta clouds that we just had that are missing on that beautiful, well-crafted slide that someone I know created. Called Fred. But anyway, we're now supporting in beta version DigitalOcean and Vultr, which give you 2 more clouds for you to try Kubefirst. And hopefully, again, it's in beta. So if you have any issue, any problems with it, if it's not working, let us know. You can come talk to us on the Slack community. You can create an issue on GitHub. The documentation, though, is not updated yet for those 2 cloud providers. So it's also part of the reason why it's in beta. But you're going to see the process is kind of like the same as like any other cloud provider. The benefit, though, is that now with the new UI, you can also use those new cloud in the beta version with the UI. So you don't even need documentation anymore. It's so easy to create a cluster. No need for documentation. Let's stop the update. We're done.
And it's fun. That's crazy.
And it's fun. So I can't believe that we will finish that live stream in like nearly 20 minutes. And I can't believe that I talk more than John, which is usually can be the case in live, but like maybe not in the live stream. So as always, quick reminder of the links, go on github.com/kubefirst/kubefirst. If you're watching live, before the end of today, we're gonna release 2.1. It's June 8th. So like if you watch the recording after that, the version should be there. So you just need to upgrade Homebrew or use the Helm install. So everything is going to be, the documentation is going to be updated. Keep a look also to the announcement. So if you go on kubefirst.io/blog, we're going to have a blog post announcing the release, which if you watch the live stream, that's going to be the same kind of information. But we're going to have like a small section that we didn't talk about because we're just running the details about it. But with your scores, you're going to have some swags and some winners and a small competition about like trying to beat, not to beat Jared's score because that was too easy. It was too low. But at least like we're going to
Sorry that I'm not better at the game, Fred. I really try. It's just hard, all right?
Yeah, I know. It's real not easy. So we're going to have like monthly prizes for best scorer. So you're going to get some like nice Kubefirst swag. So the details on how that's going to work is going to be in the blog post announcement. But basically, that's going to be about tweeting your score. We're going to keep the score, and the top winners with one or multiple S will get some swag. Lastly, I say it again because it's super important. Come join us to our Slack community. We're there to help you. We have the Helping Ends channel. This is where you can ask questions. This is where you can vent about frustration you have. This is where you can give us constructive feedback. We're there to help you. We're there to listen. Obviously, if you have great feedback about your product, we also welcome those. But in the end, we want real transparent feedback. So I think that's kind of it. Any last word about the 2.1 release?
No. Excited to get it out the door.
Yeah, no, I will. We don't commonly talk too much about the engineers behind the scene, but just wanted to give a quick shout out to a really strong collaborative team effort. Donna, Christian, Scott, Clay, ourselves, obviously. We all really dug in deep to re-architect, re-engineer, take us a product that was a CLI for years and years and years and build a user interface on top of it and provide that great user experience that was kind of part of the vision the whole time, but really had to get some hard work done with our team to make it come to fruition, and couldn't be more pleased with the results. So I hope the same holds true for our users. If that's not the case, we want to hear about it. We want to know why it's bad, why it's not working for you. It's all very, very new, very and a little bit different. So just wanted to give a shout out to the team. Great work, everybody. Really excited to get the feedback.
Yeah, good work, everyone. So before I let everyone go, what do you call a programmer from Finland? Nerdic. French accent. It sounds different than it should have. But you got the joke. Oh, so on that note, I wish everyone a good rest of the day. Thanks for joining us. As always, if you have a question, if you're watching the replay and have any question, ask us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Slack community. We're there to help you being successful with Kubernetes and GitOps. So have a good one.
See everybody.